Oh, hello.
Hello.
The set might be different, but welcome to One More Time with Sam Bashor. I am going to be filming these in my car from now on because it's been a fun setup. But since everything was ready to go here...
You're filming it in your car on purpose?
Dude, it's fun. It's actually super cool. You get to go out and get some fresh air.
Mm-hmm. You do it while you're driving.
I tried not to. It's a little hard to hold the recorder, the camera, the computer, and drive at the same time. But thank you so much for joining us for another episode. This is the first not so good review. This is a thumbs down review. So far, I've been doing thumbs up reviews for Avatar: The Last Airbender, which you can check out anywhere you get your podcast or at youtube.com/Sam Bashor. But today we're going to be diving into a movie that DJ Wooldridge and I are not big fans of. We watched this when it aired in 2017.
Yeah.
Right in a movie theater. We used to pay
That was only 2 years ago?
Yeah.
By the way, you can get the whole box set of a Blu-ray box set of Avatar and Korra. It's just the one. I think it's on sale right now. So just throwing that out
For
there for
everyone
your fans.
asking where they can go and watch it, you can do that.
Because
also,
it is 1,000% worth it.
On Amazon right now, you can do a free trial of Nicktoons, and for like $7 a month, you can get all their whole catalog attached
That's amazing.
to your.
How come we don't hear about that more?
It was just a rant because I was looking at where you could rent it
Yeah.
or buy it, and so I bought it through Apple years ago. So I'm just rewatching it through there. But you can go through Amazon and just get everything that they have to offer on Nicktoons, which is pretty cool. They have a lot of goodies and baddies. And speaking of baddies, the Transformers franchise is a rough one, helmed by Michael Bay since day one for bringing it to the big screen.
Do you have any association with Transformers from being a kid?
Just the toys. I never watched the shows. I never checked out anything. I've never watched the movie that everyone says, well, if you're a real nerd, you would have watched it and you would have cried because the opening, everyone dies and
with Orson Welles voicing Unicron. Man,
his career... took a bit of a nosedive.
Yeah, there was some twists and turns there.
And cliffs.
Yeah.
They weren't so great. But when we did our initial review, you should go listen to it at onlystupidanswers.com. You can actually, or go to audioboom.com/onlystupidanswers or anywhere you get your podcast. You can go ahead and look up our Transformers review. There will be a link in the description down below, which is very exciting. So go check that out. That's one of our best freakouts regarding a movie. I think it's the only real freakout that we recorded ever.
Yeah, I think instead of rewatching the movie, I should go back and re-listen to that episode just to hear our thoughts on it.
So I revisited the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I took notes and I showed DJ once again the parts that I thought were I had some merit to revisit, good and bad.
Yes.
Now we're going to get through that. I'm going to do some business up top. For
business time.
For the listeners, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's listening to it on the Anchor.fm app and supporting there. The app is free, so go ahead and download it when you get a chance because
you can't knock free.
It definitely helps out the show because there's a lot of cool features that I don't want you guys to miss out on. So go check that out whenever you get a chance, and also make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/Sam Bashor. That's my name, and that way we can keep this going and maybe in the future get a sponsor. Don't worry, not too many. We're not going to go crazy here, but it does help keep the lights on in this old place. Also, going to Apple Podcasts. I know you guys might just be Spotify listeners or whatnot, but if you go to Apple Podcasts, you guys are able to leave reviews for it.
Snap.
And if you leave reviews, I'm able to read the reviews on the air. And I read one in previous episodes, and right now I wanted to give a quick shout out to Maggie Mouse Katir. She's a supporter of Only Stupid Answers, and thank you so much for checking out this podcast. We love our friend Sam Bashor. Oh dang, Sam is out here giving us content we want. He gives us a solid review and unique opinions on all things movie and TV. You'll want to tune in to see what he'll revisit next. Maggie, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Also on Anchor.fm, you guys can actually send me audio messages, and they're totally free as long as you get the app. You can do it online as well. You can just send me your thoughts on things or random comments, mean things if you want to. But
that's a mean thing.
If you do, I'm going to play it and your name's going to be attached to it. So that's up to you. But also you can send me your reviews and suggestions for future episodes they should do, because I'm going to be revisiting the Avatar movie very soon because we're reaching the end of season 1. Seems like a natural place.
The live action movie? I've never seen it.
Maybe I might do like a panel. Get the whole gang in the car and go ahead and watch it together as a family. But let's go ahead and hop into Transformers: The Last Night, the 5th movie in the Transformers franchise. Not the final, because we're still getting those coming out. Directed by Michael Bay and written by 9,000 people. A deadly threat from Earth's history reappears, and a hunt for a lost artifact takes place between Autobots and Decepticons. While Optimus Prime encounters his creator in space. He meets God. So he meets God, and that's the rest of it. So this is sitting pretty at a cool 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
That sounds about right for the review.
That's earned.
And now, walking out of the theater, when we watched it, cast your mind back. What did young, spry DJ Wooldridge think of this?
Here's what I remember. Here's the thing I remember most about this movie. I remember because this was back in the days where we were paying for tickets like any old schlub, sitting in the theater.
We were at the only Cinemark in LA, and famously there was always something happening in that theater. There was always people talking, kids choking on popcorn, kids screaming.
But it was one of those moments we're in the middle of the movie, and somehow they ended up in a submarine, and I still don't know. Like, you've replayed me parts of that. It's like I still don't know. Like, I was watching the movie, and I don't quite know how it happened.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a person full on answered a phone call in the movie.
I think he did speaker and then put it on his chest because we're in the recliner seats.
And normally I'd be annoyed by that, but I was like, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get it. Like, this is a good time to do some business. You know what I mean?
I actively fought to go to sleep. Yeah. I was trying so hard to close my eyes.
It was punishing, man.
Oh no, I found out what part I missed now rewatching the movie, and I have opinions about it. Maybe different. Who knows? But let's go ahead and hop into it. In the first whole hour of how long is this bad boy? We're looking at 2 hours 34 minutes.
That's insane.
I was going a little. I overshot it to 37 before.
Remember when people like Avengers Endgame was like 3 hours and everybody had a freaking panic attack? There was like, there's got to be an intermission. When am I going to pee? None of those conversations with Transformers the last night.
Nope. Somehow they kind of snuck in 2.5 hours as a regular blockbuster length. And this movie, you can feel every bit of it. So I got a lot of notes that I want to get through, but we'll go plot point by plot point because this movie just chugs along through. It blindly bats its way down a hallway to get to the end line of whatever this is. Yeah. And the end game, by the way, for people who don't know, Cybertron, the planet of the Transformers, and Earth are literally connected at the end of this movie physically with chunks of Cybertron just stuck to our planet,
lightly resting on continents.
And everyone's like, but Transformers are being hunted now and they're trying to exterminate them. And it's like, you guys are a pest. Sorry, I know we recently talked about Maleficent and how these beautiful like fairy creatures are like, but we're the ones being subjugated. And it's like, no, Transformers, as soon as you got here, you're the size of buildings and you're just murdering all the inhabitants on this planet. But don't worry.
You're an invasive species.
In this movie, we find out that Transformers have been around a lot longer.
Forget everything you remember in the other movies.
Because the writers didn't watch the other movies.
Because we sure did. Because we get flashbacks to like World War II and important
colonial times,
the medieval times. Yeah, apparently giant robots were painted out of every famous painting in history.
Except for in Sir Anthony Hopkins. Thank you. I totally blanked because
Sir Anthony Hopkins Laboratory.
And you mentioned that when we were prepping for this, that was the big pull for this movie. Is that they got Anthony Hopkins to join up with Katie Yeager for another Transformers explosion extravaganza.
God bless Anthony Hopkins.
Bless him.
It's hard to give him dialogue that like doesn't sound like really like full of gravitas. You know, honestly, getting off topic a little bit, I think that's one of the main things that made people think like, oh yeah, Westworld, it's like really deep, and because half the exposition was being spoken by Anthony Hopkins. You're like, oh yeah.
I know. You know, guess what? And he is a phenomenal actor, but he's not afraid to get a paycheck, and I can't fault him for that.
Listen, it's important to not be afraid to get a paycheck.
Oh no! But there's so many factual errors here. But so in the first chunk of the movie, we're seeing once again Transformers. No good, dude. Bad time to be a Transformer on Earth. Chicago once again, hellscape. It's the only place that Mark Wahlberg. No, he's allowed to go other places. Michael Bay is not really able to film in other places, so we always keep circling back to Chicago. 3 movies now. We revisit once again, and we end up getting some sort of trinket that turns into a Terminator 2 type goop and attaches himself to Mark Wahlberg. This is a classic blockbuster.
This happens to Mark Wahlberg every weekend.
And you get him teaming up with Dora the Explorer, and they're going to a junkyard. And this is where
when he was married to Rose Byrne, he adopted for a minute.
Dude, you didn't even watch that movie. That movie's actually fantastic.
I listen. I'm just saying. Mark Wahlberg clearly likes this kid.
Yeah, which is awesome. Hey, if you're successful and you bring up other actors, I'm glad this is her time to shine.
Yeah, and he had to adopt her because before she was the daughter of that cartel boss, and then
Sicario too. Dave the Sicarios. That's the one. We'll never really watch those movies here. Maybe Dora the Explorer. We
on Nicktoons.
We finally get to see Michael Bay direct a medieval movie, and he doesn't know how to do that. So he just put a lot of M80s underneath the actors and just started going boom, boom, like Danny McBride in Tropic Thunder, just like boom, 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 detonate them.
Yeah, that is how. And based on like a lot of the safety reports that come back from his movies, it's probably not far off.
And like we get Merlin played by none other than Stanley Tucci, who was in Transformers 4 as a different role. So
and he's in this movie as a different role too. He plays 2 roles in this movie, right?
No, just Merlin in this.
Okay.
They only could get him for the makeup.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he played a scientist in the 4th one, and he was very big on taking the seed to plant Transformer goop in China. You may have forgotten that.
Yeah,
Don't worry,
I
revisited it.
You rewatched the whole series for this.
T.J. Miller was in that movie.
Yes.
Who,
is he in this one?
No, he's not.
Interesting. I wonder why.
But the only reason I bring up that name is because I heard on the set Michael Bay said to him, "I thought you were supposed to be funny," and that's why he's not in that movie for very long.
That's great.
Yeah. So getting into this,
you know what? And it's only from hindsight. It's like that's the one time Michael Bay had the higher ground.
Yeah, I'm not too upset that he's not in future movies. But we get into the learning that of course the Transformers the Knights of the Round Table exist.
Yeah.
King Arthur exists.
Merlin exists.
Magic doesn't exist.
No, that's be silly.
Because classic gobbledygook, magic is just science that we don't understand yet.
Snap.
Which is said in this movie by famed inventor Cade Yeager. Cade
Yeager.
Calum Yeager. So we find out that the Transformers give the magic to Merlin. They turn into a dragon. The dragon helps the Camelot win the day. And then flash forward. These are classics.
The legends,
the gigantic robots that teamed up with there's the Knights of the Round Table.
Hold on.
And then you add in just double the numbers and make them gigantic robots.
So I got to pause right now. If you went back in time with an AR-15, do you think they would think that's magic?
No, they'd understand.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, it's like a crossbow, but like crazy."
But if you went back in time and you gave them Alexa that was connected to Wi-Fi, you call that magic. It's like that.
But see, how do you get the Wi-Fi back then?
But pretend it did.
Okay.
But how'd you get electricity to run the other stuff?
Yeah.
But it works. And you know what? And some of this is magic. Like when he gets the staff, and now all the emblems on all the knights' shields start like gooping around and stuff. And also
the Transformers. You think about it, it's like a car. There's not like hollow space in the car. Like all the stuff that makes the car work is in there. So where's the transform parts?
I saw
the arms.
There was a thread where someone was like, if you took out all the empty space in the body, how big would we actually be? And it's like, there's
what are you talking about?
There's not like air. There's not like a place to put your phone.
Yeah.
It's all used up.
Yeah, you think what are those like space saver bags that you squish the air out? You like just put us in there and like squeeze it out.
Or I think they're thinking action movie logic where you get shot and they're like, oh, there's the spots where you can get hit.
Yeah, which is so Righteous Gemstones, funny bit where a guy gets shot in the butt. If you shot somebody in the butt with that gun, they know the lower half of their body would just blow off.
That thing knocks whole elephants in half. That the Danny McBride ain't walking away from that.
Nope.
But so basically magic, if you're getting an emblem that turns into goop and flies around on it, crawls into Cade Yeager's crotch, it's
sure does.
Basically magic. So the first half of this movie is basically a big old waste of time. Just being
that's the thing
totally
that
candid.
Blew my mind because Dora the Explorer's there and they set up this whole thing where Cade's supposed to be like she's the new daughter or whatever, and we introduce her, and then we introduce the bad guys, and we introduce all these things, and then none of that matters. Literally none of that matters for the rest of the movie. And it's like, what the hell?
But we do get Megatron building his Suicide Squad, and you get John DiMaggio doing great voices.
Hold on. I remember that being complete crap. Like, wait, isn't it one of those like Megatron's like to stop the I need a team or something like? He makes a good point.
Yep. So they're finally gonna get the Autobots out of that one junkyard where they know where they all are, but they're like, we can't go there because Dinobots are running around there. Also, there are baby Dinobots in this movie. Very important to make note of.
You're just gonna have to slide past that one because I don't know. I don't remember how does that work.
Oh, couldn't tell you. Don't know who made what.
I'm sure eggs are involved, and that also doesn't make sense.
It's just a robot egg. Yeah. But yes, we get Megatron in a brand new spanking body, making demands to the U.S. government to release prisoners. These are Transformers that actively say like slurs. No, they don't say any slurs, but I feel like it's on the tip of their tongue. Yeah. They're waiting for the proper company to say that. And some of them have like robbed banks, which is, there's some questions. Why? He robbed a bank. They say he robbed a bank and then he didn't take any money. So it's like, he didn't rob the bank, did he? He didn't take anything. That's called
disturbing the peace, I think is what that is.
He did murder a bunch of people, but who's counting? And then the rest of them are... overall, really cool designs for Transformers. It'd be great if
one of them like stole a car. Like, what?
Why did you do that? And they go after the Autobots.
Yes.
And in this instance, all the Decepticons lose. And they run away. Autobots good to go. And now this is when they get scuttled off to not being a part of the plot anymore because we get Cogman. Everybody, can we give some thumbs up in the chat for Cogman? Because Cogman's back, and
wasn't it a big deal in the second movie that a Transformer could look like a girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, shout out to Tom Kenny, voice of SpongeBob, and the small RC car Transformer being back in this movie. I'm happy he's getting roles. That little thing, it was Megan Fox's gal pal. Glad that thing is not.
Tom Kenny's great though.
He is so good.
Yeah. We did a table talk with him.
Yeah. I didn't get to be there that day, and it really grinded my nards, I'll be honest. I was really irked me. I was a big SpongeBob fan as a child and to today.
Tom Kenny frequents the comic shop I go to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He reads? Or is he just kind of like steal stuff? Does he just pickpocket?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to ask him.
And he drops like a bunch of SpongeBob toys. He's like, there you go. There you go, nerds.
They're not signed or anything.
No.
Just like they're loose McDonald's toys.
Still in the bag though. Yeah. So go ahead and save those. So yeah, Cogman, he's here and he's ready to get Kate Yeager over to London so that he can get a lot of plot dumped on him from Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
We find out, big surprise here, Sam Witwicky, the character from the first three Transformers movies, played by Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
That family name is actually tied to Masons-esque group of higher ups in society called the Witwickens.
Yeah,
and they include the likes of, actually I have a full list here if I may.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Here we go. Known members of the Order of the Witwickens. Beethoven. We have Edward Burton, that is Anthony Hopkins' character, Catherine the Great, Winston Churchill, Copernicus, Charles Darwin, Frederick Douglass, Einstein, Elizabeth I, Galileo, Stephen Hawking, Henry V, I don't know who that is, Lincoln, Michelangelo, Mozart, Newton, Roosevelt, Shakespeare, Tesla, Harriet Tubman, Queen Victoria, Leonardo da Vinci, which was a Transformer, which we saw in this movie, George Washington, which had
Leonardo
a Transformer.
Da Vinci was a Transformer?
There was one. They show for just a second. They show a Transformer that looks like him. Either Leonardo da Vinci based his look off the Transformer, or vice versa. That had to have happened, or it was one person, and of course, the Wright brothers.
That's stupid. That was you played that clip, and it's you can because it's a montage of like pictures and stuff. And 100% they just had Anthony Hopkins read off a list of names.
So we find out that they have been hiding Transformers, yet we see posters to recruit people to go to war, and Bumblebee's on the poster, as we find out that Bumblebee was in World War II, fought for the Americans because he knew his allegiances and he knew what he was about, and he was going around killing Nazis. And there's a line saying like, "Oh, B, you used to do that? You mean Bumblebee we know?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, that dude never made any jokes." So I have to imagine Bumblebee committed some war crimes. I have to imagine that he's a bit of like a Punisher type character
100%,
during World War II.
Yeah.
Or longer. I have no idea when you landed, because in the first movie we see that he lands, takes over the Camaro's body.
Yes.
Right? If I'm remembering correctly, he could have been there longer.
And then in the new Bumblebee movie, we see him land again.
In the 80s. And with
there's
Haley Steinfeld.
There's a team of writers. Like, it's one of those, I think it was one of the first franchises that had like a writing team.
There are
like a show, like a TV show.
This one has 3 screenplay writers and 4 story by writing credits. Sorry, so a total of 7.
How are they so bad at keeping track of all this stuff?
I couldn't tell you. Just watch. All you got to do is watch the movie, gang. But so yeah, they keep rewriting history. So now Bumblebee's been here, forever.
Yeah. Since the Knights of the Round.
I'll be honest. I'll just go ahead and take the Bumblebee solo movie's origin because I actually really enjoyed that movie.
I enjoyed that movie as well.
Is it stellar? No. But I did
Compared
enjoy
to these, it's high art, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining, and you didn't feel gross watching the movie.
Yeah.
But as we move on, we get Anthony Hopkins. The reason why and we find out, thanks to John Turturro, who's now hanging out in Cuba, by the way, that Cuba's the only place that Transformers are welcome, so they're flocking there.
Cool.
Whatever that means. Whatever that could possibly mean.
Whatever political commentary is going on there. Michael Bay's not doing that.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. We do find out, though, that John Turturro has discovered that Pangea is the official lineup of all of Unicron's tips. Horns. Yeah. And if Cybertron lines up with Unicron's tips, they get to suck the life right out of his tips.
If tips touch, they get to suck.
There you go. Them's the rules.
Yeah.
And
we didn't make them.
There's a lot of bad ADR in that scene from Anthony Hopkins. Like, whoa, Pangea, the supercontinent? That must mean Stonehenge is in the middle of that. That's not where.
No.
That's not where that is.
No, that's
also, Anthony Hopkins gets blown up by Megatron, by the way, at the end of the movie.
100%.
And he buys out fully with cash. He walks up to the turnstile at a museum for this submarine that has fuel in it. And he says, which apparently has fuel in it. We find out because it launches, so it works. He gives him money and he says, the museum is now closed forever. And then he goes and fat shames a lot of people to get out of the museum. And he's like, come on, fatty, get out of here. Go on, push. And then you're like, oh.
Wait, hold on. Is that true?
Yep.
That's insane.
I'm exaggerating only a little bit. He says it to one person who is plus size, and he likes to make some fat jokes. And guess what? That's got to be that just kind of lines up with the tone of these movies.
I like that. A perfect example of stuff like that is Michael Bay tries to get the hottest actress imaginable to play the scientist, and then puts her in the skimpiest dress he can get away with, and then makes a joke at her expense for that dress. And it's like, would you? The costume department put her in that thing. You know what I mean? I don't know if you get to make fun of that.
Yeah, no, in a tight dress that your lead character makes fun of, and then her response in the sequence we get.
It's a good comeback. It's a nice zinger.
It's when they meet for the first time, and he makes a joke that she went to Oxford, which and in a stripper outfit, and then Anthony Hopkins zoned out of his mind as being like, stripper? Question mark.
Wait, where? Let me see. I want to see.
And her retort is, oh, if you don't like it, I could take it off. And we're like, what? Did you zing him? Is this a zinger? I think I missed it.
Yeah.
And then so they deploy. Cogman and the boys and the gals are off to.
I wish this had chapter titles and it's like Cogman and the boys.
They deploy in a submarine, get in a submarine chase.
Yes.
Do a loop-de-loop with a submarine and manage to strike another submarine with a submarine, and everyone lives somehow. And they start heading to the
science beyond our understanding is magic.
Magic beyond our understanding is Tesla coils and it's Transformer magic. And so they head off to the Knights of the Round Table's secret underwater space.
And by the way, though, you said Tesla coils, and they mentioned Tesla in that list. Forget the Knights of the Round Table. I would watch a whole movie of Nikola Tesla discovering and hanging out with the Transformer.
And he's like hooking up stuff to it.
Yeah, 100%.
You ever read about Tesla's death ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's those are fun. His crazy sci-fi weapons are pretty fun.
That's fun. But there was one that was even crazier where this guy like 100% made a death ray, and then like, well, can we see it? No.
Why do you want to look at it?
But you have to buy it first. No, we're not going to do that.
So we end up heading to the Knights of the Round Table zombie-filled Transformer ship.
Yes.
And you know what? Let's go ahead and wind the clock back a little bit, because what we find out is that Optimus Prime gave deuces to all the Transformers and shot out into space to go find God.
Yeah.
And he freezes. Lands back on Cybertron. Really good aim, by the way. And he finds God, or maybe not God, someone pretending to be God, and it's Quintessa, played by none other than Gemma Chan.
Yeah.
One of the first bigger roles that she got to do. And you know what? Overall, everyone does exactly what they can do in this movie. So I don't want to.
They all cash their paycheck. Yeah.
And that's, you know what, good on them. Like, if they asked me to be in one of these movies, they'd be like, oh yeah, sure, you want me to hold a Beats pill? Am I chugging Mountain Dew and playing on an Xbox? Like, you want me to do that? Am I just getting stomped on by Bumblebee and while like good mariachi music plays? Like, let's do it, man. Let's go ahead, do it. People can go ahead and call me stuff on Twitter later. I really don't give a shit. I'll be honest.
And you're good to go, and then like, cool. Now you just need to put on this bronzer, and you're like, wait,
what am I doing?
You're playing a Mexican.
How
much money?
I might have to pass on this, guys. You sure don't want me to be a corpse in the background? I'll just be a corpse in the background. We get that Optimus Prime meets his maker.
Yeah.
And she immediately turns him into Nemesis Prime.
Nemesis Prime.
For the Transformers heads out there, I went ahead and looked up Nemesis Prime. He's a clone of Optimus in the cartoon.
Yeah.
And
I think purple paint job instead of the red. Yeah.
Basically. And you get that with the purple eyes in Nemesis Prime in the movie.
What it really is they wanted to make more money on toys, so they just repainted the Optimus Prime action figure and sold it as something else.
It's a really good plan.
Yeah.
Also, famously, Nemesis Prime hates Christmas. Just I wanted to put that out there.
Okay.
He's not a Christian. He's not a Christian.
Good to know. That's good to know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he met his own God, so I guess
it's not for him.
Yeah, not for him. So we have a ticking clock here.
That's why he comes out and he says, "Take that, Jesus." It was really strange.
He always stomps on churches.
Yeah.
And, Cade Yeager always has to hold his tongue because he doesn't want to get stomped on too.
It must have been a note from Hong Kong, from China. They're like, "Oh, we got to do this now."
So we get. In this movie, we have also worth mentioning Quintessa's knights.
Yeah,
are the knights that went and helped out the Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah.
So they said deuces to her and were like, "Nuh-uh, we're gonna protect Earth."
Yeah,
Unicron. Really cool thesis statement at the front end of this movie where they say, "Don't you want to know why all the Transformers keep coming here?" And you're like, "That's actually kind of cool. Like, why do they?" And it's like. Sorry for audio listeners. I shrugged because it was more like Unicron's here, but that's not like why they're here.
Yeah.
And there's like a secret society, and that's not really why they're here either. Anyways, Nemesis Prime shows up at the end of this movie, starts killing some of the knights, killing people. Bumblebee learns to talk at some point, which he learned to talk at the end of the first movie. You mentioned that. We also hear his voice in the Bumblebee movie.
Yes.
And in this movie, we see he's in... The last night, he's trying to learn how to talk, doesn't have a voice box, and then all of a sudden he just does.
Yes. Well, it's a classic character arc where you struggle, you have to try and do something, and then you just do it.
Then you do it.
You just do it.
Yeah. You got to learn how to fly Peter Pan, and then you get a little dust, and you get to talk. So Nemesis Prime's back, and Optimus is back on his Bill shirt doing his motivational speeches, and it was like, "Our day here today will be etched into the cosmos of today if we get Vivian, if we get, what is your name, sweetheart? Vivian up into the planet, then let's go team." And then he shoots off.
in her stripper dress.
Optimus. You don't say that anymore. And so they end up going to, they go to fight. You know what? I want to give a special shout out to Tony Hale.
Yeah.
Great performance in Arrested Development.
Yes.
And as Forky in Transformers 4. Excuse me. Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4. He's getting a little miniseries on Disney Plus, which I'm excited about.
Answers questions,
right?
Yeah.
Ask questions. Forky asks questions.
And so in this movie,
now I'm thinking about Toy Story 4, and I really like that movie.
We should watch that again. It's out now.
Yeah.
But in this, we get to see him be a stuck-up JPL scientist.
Yeah.
And where he's like, you know what? You guys blowing smoke up each other's asses about Transformers magic and Cybertron, this and that, but I'm going to go ahead and look at physics for a second.
Yeah, and that's right after a whole nother planet gets within our orbit and then just it casually drops continents like...
It bonked its noggin onto the planet Earth and destroyed our moon.
Yeah, I think he did destroy it. I think at that point I'd be like, if I was a physicist, like, all right, I guess I'm done.
Yeah, I'd stop being a cocky little piece of ass. I'm trying to not curse, but I've cursed. We've sprinkled in a few for you.
Just for the kids at home.
Yeah, for the kids at home. But I also really enjoy the, guess is going to hit the ISS first. And then we get the whole scene where an astronaut just has to, stare as he dies.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't die. Maybe
it, went around it.
Yeah, and maybe he, landed on the surface of
It has its own
Cybertron.
gravity.
Yep.
It has to have its own gravity. It's too big to not have its own gravity.
Yep. So a lot of planes aren't going to fly
I remember in even as a kid, I was watching Dragon Ball Z, and because the Saiyans, when it's a full moon, they become giant monkey people that destroy everything.
Sure.
And that happens to Gohan, and Piccolo, who's training him at the time, was like, I guess there's only one option, and then he blows up the moon. He fires a shot at the moon and blows up, and like, cool, problem solved. And then Gohan turns back to normal, and you're like, what? We need the moon.
Best part in this. So they've scooped up.
Does all the water just fly off the planet at that point?
It should be. Oh, if the moon slightly moves our tides, this thing's just sucking just people are just going flying up to Cybertron. Cybertron, where there's no air.
Yeah.
Who cares? They don't.
Yeah, they're robots. They don't breathe.
They don't breathe.
Come on, Sam. Science here.
But Optimus kind of died in space for a little bit until he crash landed and woke back up.
He just took a nap. He just took a space nap.
Very good point. If they just landed on Mars, there wouldn't be any problems. But again, who cares?
Yeah.
But we get the Cybertron bad dudes who are now. It is now Megatron's cronies and Gemma Chan have teamed up to suck the life out of Unicron, aka the Earth. So the Navy SEALs decide to shoot tactical nukes at a chunk of Cybertron to pendulum their base off to land into Earth and kill all the Transformers into it. You're following?
I mean, as best as anyone can.
But don't worry, the team sidekick's here, and she brought all of her friends. Let me go ahead and read off some of the voice talent that we get in this movie. Playing the role of Hound, we have Mr. John Goodman. We also have, I can't find his character. Oh, wait, no, wait. We have Mr. Ken Watanabe back playing Drift. We also have Steve Buscemi playing Day Trader. Actually, that's it for the A-listers gang playing Transformers, but they are not listed high on the list of cast members. Anyways, they're rootin' and tootin' their way across Cybertron to save the day, and the way we end it is Gemma Chan's Quintessa gets cut in half. Vivian steals Merlin's staff. Oh, sorry. Merlin's blood is what activates the staff. Sometimes it'll look like wood until someone of his bloodline touches it, and it turns back into the staff.
Yeah.
So there is real magic. So what you're saying now is there's real magic in these movies. That ain't some technology.
Well, they're Transformers, so it just transforms from a wood stick to a metal stick.
That's an answer, I guess. Yeah, that works. But earlier we saw it. Nope.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Nope.
Debate me.
I can't debate me. Nerds. Someone else explain it to us. So they get the stick. Time slows down in a bubble. Optimus Prime saves his best friend Cade and his now wife, we have to assume by the end of this movie, Vivian.
Yeah.
And we don't get to see Cade's daughter, by the way, the other star of Age of Extinction. She's on the phone call one time.
Yes, but she's too busy dunking that guy that's too old for her.
Yeah. Romeo and Juliet law, DJ.
Spend more time on that, huh?
Yeah. That's a weird one. But, by the end of this movie, we get one more line from Optimus saying, Marlin meets the eye. And then they fly off to Cybertron, which is now spitting distance from Earth. That's what the writers ended on, is that Cybertron is now attached to Earth.
Yes.
And everything's good to go. Everything's cherry. Everything's fine. But a big thing that I think we need to mention is the wonderful aspect ratio of this film, and how he picked about 3 of them.
Yes,
I think a great example, because we noticed it in the movie theater. I think I noticed it in the first action scene with Autobots versus Decepticons. You got them fighting.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, we're really flip flopping between explosions. Like, it's really hard to watch.
Yeah, and once you notice it, it makes the movie almost unwatchable.
And so now going back on a rewatch, it happens right off the bat in the Dark Age, air quote, the Dark Ages. We get to see.
If you asked Michael Bay when the Dark Ages were, do you think he could give you an answer?
It is earlier than the 80s.
True. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, actually.
But we get to see that even when Merlin is talking with the Transformers, Stupid fan fiction bullshit. You see the aspect ratio just flip flopping constantly. It's like goes from full frame IMAX. It's not shot. There's no way they bring an IMAX camera onto one of these sets.
Well, and it's one of those things that so when Christopher Nolan, or I believe all of Endgame was shot in IMAX, right? Mm-hmm. So, but other movies sequences are shot in IMAX.
Yeah,
it's like he shot with 3 different cameras, and he just flipped between them whenever he thought. It's just like the rest of Michael Bay's aesthetic. It's just this just do everything and don't really care about any type of if you throw enough explosions at them, nobody's going to give a shit.
By the way, just as we come to a close here with our review, would love to give a shout out to the factual errors in this movie, to name a few. While submersibles are underwater and they're entering an alien ship, they say the radio contact would cease. Yeah. The radio waves cannot pass through water, so then none of that would matter. And regardless, gravity of an approaching planet-sized object would just, like we said, suck up all the tidal of all the water off the planet's surface,
which would not be great. Mm-hmm. Throwing that out there.
And
what a nightmare! What a nightmare that would be.
Actually, I'm just gonna have to read that one later because I don't understand.
Wait, subs don't get
radio signals between each other. Apparently, they use something else.
Okay,
putting it in there. Anachronisms. We see Merlin drinking a glass bottle with a grooved neck that doesn't exist during that time period. That's 100 years too early.
Well, now that's one I feel like you can let slide. Mm-hmm. The planet one is a big red flag.
How about this one? Day Trader brings Starscream's head to a junkyard, whichever guy he died in the third movie.
Yeah.
And Megatron is seen holding it later, and none of the injuries Starscream received in the third film when he died were on the head anymore. Makes sense.
Yeah.
It works.
That's on par with other continuity errors in these movies.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Optimus, when he lands on Cybertron, asks what happened to Cybertron, but in the third movie he saw it, and so I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
these are just a few courtesy of the users over at IMDb, because boy howdy, are there a lot of
I'm gonna go through that page later today just for my own enjoyment.
Treat yourself, because we also find out Hitler was killed by a transformer.
Yeah,
by a pocket watch that Anthony Hopkins later threatens the Prime Minister of England with. He goes, if anyone moves in this goddamn room, we're all dead. You know what? I'm glad Anthony Hopkins, Mark Wahlberg, and the rest of the Transformers gang was able to get a paycheck from this. And also, I'm glad that Mark Wahlberg and Isabella Moner, that's Moner.
I always thought it was Moner, but
yeah, I think
we don't know.
For the audio listeners, you got the gist.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they were able to meet, because they were able to do a great movie together. And then she went on to do Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, produced by Michael Bay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Really?
I believe so.
There you go. Man, what a weird trajectory for his career. He did a Transformers movie, and now he's that guy. Mm-hmm. TMNT, Dora the Explorer, just bringing to life all these Nickelodeon properties.
He wants to make movies that are inappropriate for his kids to watch.
Oh, you like Transformers? Too bad. Ding dongs.
Suck on this 2.5 hour movie.
No, okay. So because this is called One More Time,
yeah,
I'm trying to revisit it. I'm trying to find the things that are okay with this.
Okay.
And I think that they're able to. I think I enjoyed these movies more when Shia LaBeouf was the lead in it.
Interesting. I feel the opposite. I think Mark Wahlberg was better.
There you go. Yeah. I don't think his role as an inventor is quite the perfect role for it.
That's fair. That's a fair complaint.
But I did enjoy Shia LaBeouf with he had like the wonderment of being a kid when it started out, being a teen, and then he grew up and he was able to experience, he grew up with his buddies, the Transformers.
Yeah. Like the rest of us.
But in this movie, I appreciated Mark Wahlberg at least attempting to do his best in this. Mm-hmm. I think that they didn't shy away from using every little drippity drop of Transformers lore. I think they went big and bold with this, literally saying that the Earth is a Transformer. Never showed it though.
No, and it's a bummer that it's like you only get Unicron named dropped, and it's like, well,
and his tips.
If you ever get him to transform, it's going to be a nightmare. I guess maybe they were trying to set up like all the humans are going to go to Cybertron, and then Unicron will
Oh,
how have we gotten to 5 movies and we've only name dropped Unicron?
Mm-hmm. You know what? That's a good point. I saw the humans going to go over to Cybertron, or like we see at the end, Jim Chan, we talk about that the essence of Unicron could get sucked up into Cybertron. Maybe Cybertron transforms
maybe.
into Unicron. Or the next movie will never get made, and they'll just do more spin-offs, or Bumblebee 2 or whatnot.
I'm down for Bumblebee 2.
All quiet on the Western Front when it comes to future movies.
That's true.
Transformers.
That's true.
Which is crazy because they still make all the money.
Yeah.
They still make a crazy amount of money.
Last Night made less than Extinction.
I'll go ahead and check that for us right now.
Right.
But rewatching it, I appreciate the boldness of it. I think good on the casting department for someone sending enough gifts to Anthony Hopkins for him to come to set for the days that he did.
Yeah.
And also, at one point, he does die, so you can't bring him back.
You just left a little trail from his home to the set. He's like, ooh.
So the budget for this movie was a cool $217 million.
Jeez.
Opening weekend, you get $44 million, and the gross in the U.S. was $130 million, with a worldwide gross of $605 million. So it did make its money back handily. Closer to $1 billion than I wanted it to be. Yeah. It'll eventually come. I know that Michael Bay wasn't supposed to direct this movie initially. They were looking for other directors, and then he came back.
He keeps trying to bail out after 3, but he just wants that sweet, sweet Transformers money.
And people are like begging him. They're like, "There's no one makes them like you do, Mike."
No, but we're not even going to bother trying to have anybody else make them. We finally did with Bumblebee,
and that was
worked
great.
out.
Oh yeah, no, Bumblebee was a delight. I really enjoyed that movie, but I will say, I just kind of wish that we didn't have such a set in stone origin story for the Transformers so early on in the franchise, because now you keep changing it. It feels embarrassing that you keep changing it. I would have liked the ambiguity, because the more you start to uncover the history, the more interesting it gets.
You could just have different Transformers there. You could have one that ended up there, and he knew the Knights of the Round Table, and he was in World War II, and he's been around since then.
Yeah,
we even had that old. I think he was an SR-71 Blackbird, and 2. Mm-hmm. 2 is still the low watermark for me of all these movies.
This is the lowest.
This is up there.
Yeah.
This is up there. This is up there. This is pretty bad.
I did want to give a shout out to Travis Knight, because I wouldn't mind him taking a swing at a larger scale Transformers movie, like where you get Optimus Prime featured more. Yeah. His Cybertron looked amazing. You get Soundwave. You get a cassette tape turning into a dog.
This is what we all want.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
You got that in 2 as well.
We just need Megatron turning into a big gun.
He'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll do it. And in those movies, Unicron's going to show up as a planet-sized boy flying around with the planets, and we won't have to think about the tidal forces there, because the Transformers will punch them away.
Exactly.
With their hearts combined, the Care Bear magic will put them all away. But rewatching it, this movie does not get better. I'll give you that much.
Gotcha.
Because that's the point, is I want to revisit movies, give them another shot.
Yeah.
See what they can muster. This didn't cut the mustard.
Okay, all right.
I don't know, that was disappointing. But
is that the name of the segment? Cut the mustard.
Cut the mustard. Oh, I should come up with segments. Damn it! Shit. I'll figure it out. You know what? Here's a segment. We rate it. Oh, everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna have to give this a cool letter grade of F. Yeah. F for frigid. F for don't make me put my. Find an F word.
My effing
eyes on this movie again. And you know, it's disappointing because you introduce a younger generation. It could be fun if you did, like, I know the Ghostbusters movies are doing a younger generation, like set in the 80s, finding proton packs, engineering them and making new stuff and fighting ghosts. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
If you did that with Transformers, that sounds kind of fun. Like small town, you find the monster in the woods. It turns out to be a Transformer comes, fun. You do way smaller
I like
scale,
what you're going with there.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's a fun, there's a fun idea here. Michael Bay, take that. Go ahead.
All I want now,
or Travis Knight. I'd rather Travis Knight did it.
Yeah, bring Travis Knight back. I'm sure there's other people.
There's maybe one other director out there.
Yeah, but there's only one other director. Here's what I want. I like all of that, but now that I've thought about it, I thought about it in the middle of us talking about it, and I desperately want. Let me see if I can find him here. Scott MacArthur, who was in Scotty on Righteous Gemstones, and he's also in El Camino. I want him as Starscream, and I think it could be cool if you start mocap, like the same way they do Groot and other CG characters. You start mocapping the Transformers, so there's actually like a performance there. But that actor, he just has that like Weasley energy that's really entertaining and kind of like he's good. So
and
I'm just
show
saying,
the turn too. Have him be on the Autobots and then turn to the Decepticons.
You made the reference to Starscream, and it's like, wow. Not only did they waste him, but he didn't even look like Starscream. You know what I mean? Like none of the Transformers, other than Optimus Prime, none of the Transformers look like
Bumblebee.
Not really. He doesn't look like he originally looked.
Oh, you told me about Cliff Jumper.
Yeah. Cliff Jumper, 100% looks like, and
Bumblebee.
it doesn't need to be exactly that, but like something at least reminds me of that character. You know what I mean?
I am Cliff Jumper.
Yeah.
That was another good joke from Bumblebee. There's definitely some. I think there's a urge to do comedic with the Transformers movies, and those jokes really never work.
Yeah.
But never since the beginning, they've never really worked. Anthony Anderson really tried his best to make those funny in the beginning, and it never really felt that way. I think you don't have to go super serious like a DC movie. You don't need your Joker movie for Starscream or whatever.
No.
Like you can. I think there's the first names that come to my mind. I don't think they do it, but like Chris Miller, Phil Lord.
Like
team.
Yeah.
It's just understanding it more.
You make an animated movie like Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
So in.
But like set on Cybertron, you can have people if you want to, but also that doesn't really matter. Like for a Transformers movie, I think you could have some. I think there's like a meta modernism, to coin a term from OSA friend Lon Harris.
Yeah.
He didn't come up with the term, but he's used it before. That just kind of being a little cheeky with the Transformers lore, because it is silly. It is meant to be sell toys.
Yeah.
Kind of the way I'd imagine you do a He-Man like movie in the future, but also finding that candid, like emotional core there that does affect your audience and gets them invested. Did a great job with that with Spider-Verse, and I think you could do it with Transformers.
I don't know the best way to do it. Maybe if you did it like a Spider-Verse-esque movie, but I wouldn't mind a Beast Wars movie because that meant a lot to me when I was a young person.
Throw it out there. Phil Lord, Chris Miller, Michael Bay. Everybody listen up, take notes, and see what you come up with. But Transformers Last Night, on the list of things on your desert island list, where's this ranking?
I would drown myself before. If this was all I had, I was like, well, I guess we're done.
Mm-hmm. So if you're on you're just drifting in space.
Yeah.
You're in your spaceship.
Yeah.
There's a little cubby full of DVDs, and you see this one back there. When are you getting to this one? Are you a couple months into this journey onto space, or you just throwing this right out the airlock?
I'm trying to think about Ad Astra when he's in that space, when he's for like 18 months, like maybe that one where he's really starting to flip out. It's like maybe that's when you pop it in there.
Yeah, so you can remember humanity, because you remember Earth is Unicron and Cybertron's attached to it. That way you can feel grounded.
There you go.
You know what, gang? If you want bonkers Sir Anthony Hopkins, just follow him on Twitter, because sometimes he posts videos where he's just dancing, and it's really funny.
That is really funny.
And it's more funny than this movie and him cursing at Cogman and the other Transformers that are there.
Yep.
It's just everyone's done better. Yep. Everyone's done better. And also shout out to the scene where the goop's crawling around Mark Wahlberg's crotch, because it's one of the scenes where you mentioned before we started recording where it felt like he thought they could improv.
Yeah.
But clearly they didn't.
Props to Mark Wahlberg's abs.
Yeah.
Never not impressive.
Nipple hair. It was there, and I had to point it out. It was there. But gang, let us know what you think of Transformers Last Night. Also, let us know what you think of this review. We're going to be playing around with the format. Make sure you send us audio responses at anchor.fm/Sam Bashor. You can go ahead and hit the response. It's free to do. You can support the show there. Also, rate and review on iTunes, and make sure you comment, share, subscribe on youtube.com/Sam Bashor. Let me know what you think, what other movies I should go over. I can do them by myself, or I can bring on special guests. So let me know who you'd want to see on this show. And until next time, gang, stay frosty.
Bye-bye.